Power Book 2, Season
2,
Episode 8, Drug Related. Elvin from The Cosby Show informs Tariq that Yaz is adopted. And due to Ghost foreseeing Yaz ending up alone,
you'll never see her
in his will that the adoption records were sealed and there's no way that he's going to be able to find her.
And they're going to change her name. And they're going to change her name. How can you even be mad at that? How can you even be mad at that? Because none of this would happen had your ass not caught a murder charge. A murder charge. The only thing you have to do is get a college degree and don't get a murder charge. You'd have had millions at your fingertips. You'd have millions. Millions. We were watching the last review of episode 7, and we had somebody comment that they disagreed with us about Tariq having a choice. Tell me what person, faced with these options. My father is gone. He was the only impediment to me living my life the way that I want to. Father's gone. Mother gives me whatever I want. I have 3 women who spontaneously pop in and out of my life that I can have at any given moment. I have a trust fund sitting at me at the end of my college tenure. I'm taking accelerated classes. I'll be out of here in 2.5, 3 years.
Apparently a straight A student.
Straight A student, right? The only thing you gotta do, the only 2 things, which Jesus Christ, it really shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be all of that. One is harder than the other. Just graduate and don't get caught up in a murder. Graduating is so much harder. It's so much harder. So much harder. It just is.
Yeah.
But goddamn, if you just stopped for a second and looked up and be like, man, I'm hella fortunate to have made it out of all that bullshit the way that I came out. And if I just do these things, I will have it all. So now what person faced with those 2 realities and ends up choosing the life of, dealing drugs to my classmates, does that because it's not the better option? Like who does that and not be thinking like, oh man, I'm really just, I'm into the lifestyle. There has to be something in him that's like, you know what? Damn all this good shit that I got going on over here. Damn this good life that I had that I destroyed, but somehow still materialized for myself. I'm just going to rain all over it. That's no different from Braden. It's no different from Braden. It's none. How many opportunities has this man had? They said it at the trial. How many socioeconomic opportunities has Tariq? It's hard to even paint him as the typical Black male because everything about his life was so atypical to what you would deem to be the typical experience of being a Black male in America. I don't see how he didn't have a choice. I don't.
No, he had a very clear choice. Very clear choice.
There are a lot of rich white families that do criminal shit, and then their children don't end up being murderers or kingpins. They just live their corrupt lives in peace and don't pay their taxes.
So in the next scene, Diana goes through all of Monet's shit and finds a Bible with the hospital's name imprinted on it, as well as a picture of Zeke with Zeke's name on the back. The problem I have with this
is that it's terrible. Is that it's fucking awful and extremely obvious.
Why the fuck would Monet have that shit in their house for not only Diana to find, but for Lorenzo to find? That didn't make any sense at all.
Okay,
that was terrible writing.
So let's give them a little bit of consistency here because it's like it's mother like daughter, right? So she has this incredibly incriminating piece of evidence in just plain open space for anybody to find at any given moment that she's not in her bedroom to see someone pulling out a fucking shoebox. Her daughter is just leaving condoms around for Mama Pussy Protector over here. And she found the condoms in her sock drawer of all places, like she's fucking 16 or something. First of all, why is she not allowed to have sex? What is going on here? Like, what, how old is Diana? I'm not understanding what the big deal is, I guess, with her. I understand why they don't want Tariq dating her, right? But like you got condoms, you having sex. Well, I mean, yeah.
But answer this for me, and I know it was something I was going to bring up later, but why does her having condoms mean she's having sex with Tariq?
With Tariq, right? Like, I knew you was fucking Tariq.
Like, how does that two equate with each other? Couldn't she not be having sex with anybody else?
How? Well, you know what? I ain't gonna say that because it's giving too much up. We're going in order, but yeah, man, just a lot of house this episode for sure.
Tariq ends up setting up a meeting with Kane and Monet to basically plan a heist on Mecca. Kane is initially hesitant against it, but obviously he has no fucking choice whatsoever to go along with it. This plan also includes Drew, and GTG and Lil Guap needs to be involved. Drew wants to basically kill Lil Guap, and he wants to basically pull the trigger on him.
Well, we're getting more of those cornerstone building blocks that you wanted about Drew, right? He's assuming the responsibility. He's stepping up, trying to take his lumps like he's supposed to. I guess I get the beef with Lil Guap. I get it. But it's like, I don't know if it would be like bloodlust. I don't know. Maybe I don't live that life. So maybe it just don't apply to me. I don't know if it would be a bloodlust kind of thing. Like, yeah, you had smoke for me when you didn't know what the deal was, or you didn't respect me, or whatever the deal was, right? I felt like if now the only thing I have to worry about is you being Kane's little neutered dog, then I kind of would have just let you be that, you know what I'm saying? Let you wallow in being somebody's bitch. But like, I don't know. I guess he just obviously it still burnt him up about everything that happened with him and Zeke and Everett and whatever. But I don't know. I like to see that he's stepping up and taking the position seriously, because the more and more Kane talks about how it shouldn't be Drew, the more and more Drew proves himself.
For sure.
I think Drew is much more suited to step into his position with Lorenzo, or succeeding Lorenzo, than Tariq was at the point that he succeeded Ghost. I think he's a lot more prepared for it. He obviously lived a different life than Tariq. Yeah.
Well, that also comes with the fact that the Tejadas didn't lie to their children
their entire lives. Yeah. True that.
Davis McClain basically has the tape of Lauren basically implicating Tariq in this whole murder case. And before he allows Tariq to basically go over and listen to it, he says, look, like, I can't be held responsible for you hearing this tape because I can be ultimately disbarred. So Tariq then goes and listens to the tape from Lauren.
While Davis is gone.
While Davis is gone, correct. And after that happens, Tariq obviously upset about this news that he's received. Saxe catches him because he's worried that Tariq is going to do something St. Patrick-y.
He wasn't fucking worried. Niggas, he wasn't fucking worried. He was not worried. He was trying to get Tariq to do something stupid and approach Lauren and get around her, because then what did Cooper Saxe go do after he left Tariq? What did he go do?
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Because before he slips later on, he slips in telling Tariq. He slipped and told Tariq that Milgram is actually involved in all of this.
He did not slip to do any of that. He did not slip to do any of that. He sought to destroy this whole thing. Cooper Saxe has this whole morality play thing going on here this season, right? Where he's working with Davis McLean, but he thinks he'll be the guy inside to do the change, right? He'll be the guy inside to right all the wrongs, right? Which is in turn making him work against his own client in this instance, giving him information that he doesn't need to know, giving him access to stuff that he shouldn't, egging him on, making him hyper emotional about this, making it more likely that he will approach Lauren. One slip, okay, fine. You messed up and told him about Carrie Milgram. Then you messed around and did what? Where did you go? Who did you talk to, Saxe? What did you let slip in that conversation, Saxe?
All right. So Saxe and his chicken cutlet companion are basically getting it on. And unfortunately, Saxe decides to start pillow talking and basically giving information away that can, like you said, get Davis disbarred.
He's trying to absolve himself. He's trying to lay the eggs to the prosecution, aka his girlfriend, or like you said, his chicken cutlet companion, that, hey, if this all goes awry and something illegal goes on, well, little old Cooper Sachs wasn't involved because I tried to help. That's why I left you the breadcrumbs. That's why I was leading you to it, without coming out and saying it and just totally betraying, because he's a weak, spineless little bastard. And if you really felt some way about the way it was going on, you would say something about it. But no, you slither and you hide in the grass and you do the shit that Cooper Sachs always does that ends up getting you effed ultimately, every time. All this slither, play around, oh, I'm so smart, I was district attorney. There's a reason why you're working for Davis McLean now. It's because you always try to do this little snake stuff, and it always gets you messed up.
I guess I just didn't assume that Sachs was even that smart. So I guess that's why I didn't look at it that way.
Man, listen, I'm pretty positive that those were not accidents. Those were not slip of tongues. He's a lawyer. Like, language and what he says is 90% of his job. So no, those were not slips.
So Tariq ends up convincing Milgram to take the stand for Lauren, which I also hated because it obviously was a setup to basically
to get her eviscerated,
put her on the stand and get her
ass eviscerated,
which is something that she should have seen from a mile away, but she was blinded and trying to protect Lauren.
You did not need to be in any of this. You did not have to stick your nose in this. Up until the point of you going to Lauren and convincing her to wear that wire, really up until you agreeing to help with the investigation. After Monet told you to let that shit go, right? After she told you to stand down, up until that point, you were peripheral. Only thing you had did wrong was mess with the wrong college athlete. And you could have made it out of that unscathed had you not dug your nose even deeper into it, and now you exposed. Matter of fact, Davis McLean told you to stay out of it. Davis McLean came to your door and told you, look, bruh, stay out of this. Get gone, because he already knew. He knows who Tariq is. He knows what kind of company he keeps. He knows what kind of trouble he gets into. You don't want to get mixed up in all of that. She did. Hey, look, I warned you. Fair warning. Now, could he left himself out of it? Probably. I think Whitman, Zeke, and Tariq were enough. He probably could have left himself out of it. That was
that was so weird. Like,
even me, like, damn, bro. I was like, you probably could have left your part of it out. But like, can you really be mad? I mean, she put the work in. It's her track record. He didn't make it up.
That's a fact.
I didn't realize that but you know what? That makes sense that Rage Cop was a long time ago, because he hadn't had it in a while. And he was jealous that now, so you're gonna give it to the NBA Hooper student, but you're not gonna give it to me. That's so I understand Rage Cop. Yeah, man, he kind of did her dirty, but like, at the end of the day, it just kind of is what it is.
So the plan to rob Mecca is going swimmingly, aside from the fact that a couple GTG members got killed. Braden is riding around in his mom's soccer van and then uses his white privilege. Only this time, he's not caught on camera. I thought that was pretty interesting.
They cut the power. They got Braden in there on the security guy. Effie on the other security woman to get the keys. Right, that was pretty smooth. Drew and Lil Guap going up the staircase. Here's my thing with that. Right, so first of all, break it down to sections here. Drew has the gun. Drew points the gun. Drew don't shoot the gun.
Thank you. That pissed me off so much.
What's up with all the talking? Okay, you said your one-liner. Hey, yo, thanks for the grills, but the money was mine anyways. Oh, for real? Bow. That's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to go.
Yep, agreed.
That's how it's supposed to go. Juicito. Ain't that what he was calling him? You don't have it in you, Juicito. But the way that he ultimately actually ended up killing him was a little bit more vicious, right?
Yeah,
I think
it paid it off.
He got pissed off because he fucked up with the gun, so he had to make it up in a vicious way. My problem, though, he kills him and throws him in a garbage disposal. So they're going to find that body like within the week, and they're going to find out that it was one of the GTG boys. Mecca, if he hasn't already found that body, because of something else that goes on after this, I don't know if he already found that body or why. I just don't know. It probably wasn't a good thing to kill him there. Like maybe hit the lick and then as you're leaving, kill him so you can dump his body somewhere else?
That might work hand in hand with my next point, which is this weird random animosity towards the chef is happening at probably the weirdest time.
Yeah, it's something going on. It's something going on. You know what I think it is? I think the chef is trying to talk some sense into Mecca. Like, look, she don't want you. You know what I'm saying? We have a weak foothold here anyways. We either need to focus on this or go somewhere else, but you need to get your head together or some shit. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a flashback of what happened between him and Chef, because something went down between them that we just haven't seen and haven't on screen. So I wouldn't be surprised if they flash back to that moment. But he probably was telling him like, yo, look, you're distracted. You doing shit for emotions, not because it's good for business. Like you're exposing us. Like you need to tighten up. And Mecca's probably not one to take advice. So when all that shit went down, he assumed that there was a mole, and well,
that's fair. I guess I just thought it was weird because in the similar way that he has random animosity towards the chef, he also had random weird animosity with that other guy. And it just kind of seems like it's a continued trait of his to just start having
his cousin that he animosity. Killed?
Yeah, completely random. Out of nowhere. Like you just got smoked with these niggas that you brought around to the situation.
But think about it though. He smoked him. He smoked Chef the same way Chef smoked his cousin.
I was going to mention that. Yep.
Damn. Yep. I thought that they would explain it. I thought right then and there he was going to be like, yeah, we found one of them GTG niggas in the back and Chef didn't say nothing about it, so he must have been the mole. Would have made all the sense in the world, right? Some narrative protection. I guess they don't like that in this office at all.
So the payment that Tariq provides to Davis is the ring itself. Sheesh. Now, obviously, Davis is going to have to get that fenced, which I'm going to assume at some point is going to fall back on Davis from Mecca, because somehow Mecca's going to find out about this ring.
But obviously. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He'll use the intermediary. I don't believe it'll track back to Davis.
I think it's going to fall back on Davis and then fall back to Tariq somehow. Because obviously Tariq is the one that gave it to him.
I mean, if I was Davis, I'd be saying, hey, look, you selling this on the behalf of Tariq St. Patrick. Not me.
But either way,
nothing to do with
either way, it comes back to Tariq.
It comes back to Tariq, not Davis. I don't think Davis is going to get tied up into that.
I think Mecca finds out somehow and then takes it to Davis, and then Davis gives up Tariq or something along those lines. I don't know how. Though.
Yeah, but see, I don't think so because Davis is not. If he finds out, it's probably going to come at his own. Davis is not going to give up Tariq because Tariq is his payday. Tariq probably paying more than any client that he has on the payroll right now.
True. But I think it's going to be some kind of life or death situation, and he's going to have to give up Tariq. Or
you
something.
Mean like Kane sitting in his back seat with a gun to his head like that? He didn't give up Tariq then?
I don't know. I just think that's a loose thread that's going to probably come back to Davis because Davis is going to try to fence it. And then I think
the ring is definitely the line back to Tariq if he ever finds out that this whole thing was bullshit. The thing is not Tariq. It's that if it comes back to Tariq, how the hell did Tariq know where I live? Right? He already came here and got beat up. But he said he didn't know him, right? So that's a thread. So when he finds out that happened, he'll be able to connect those. Why is he here? How did he know about this ring? How did he know to come get it right at the same time that we was getting hit by the GTGs? What connection is in between Tariq and GTG? I wonder who. Maybe it's the Bobby Brown looking MFer behind you. So that's who really need to be worried, not Tariq.
Let's talk about this dinner scene, shall we?
Let's get to it.
The Tejadas are having a lovely dinner. And eventually, Diana outs Kane for messing with the product.
I'm surprised that's where she started. I was thinking that from what she probably wanted to ultimately get to, what she had been doing the most investigating on, she probably would want to have her siblings on her side for that. I didn't think that she was going to start in on Kane about the product. I thought she would hold that over him. I thought she would tell him that she knew that as leverage. I didn't think that she would just necessarily let that go in the middle of a damn argument. Just like I didn't think most of this information would come out like this. Honestly, I felt like just like how Diana found out about Zeke in that photo in the hospital, the same thing happened with this scene at the table. I feel like they was probably all in the room arguing about how these things are going to get exposed, and they couldn't agree, and this is what they landed on. Because this is some trash, y'all. This is bad. This is like, I can't find a good way to put it into the dialogue, so we're literally going to word vomit it all out right now in a brawl, screaming match at the dinner table. Yeah. Now, believe me, shit like that has happened before, right? That's why you pissed the bed until you was 14 years old. You know, you start, people say crazy stuff in the middle of arguments. I get that, but like, no one thought to put one of these secrets in their back pocket and hold it for something more relevant than some Royal Rumble match at the dinner table. Okay.
Case in point. So after that information is given, Kane then outs Drew for not killing Everett.
Did you, when we seen that scene when he was talking to his dad he was talking about loose ends and stuff like that. And then we obviously talked about the scene where he was chasing down Everett and he was getting ready to shoot him on the street. Did you get the impression that what Lorenzo said to Drew was a directive? Like, hey, yo, go kill order. Everett now. An order? Is that what you got from that? I got like, hey, yo, look, he looks shaky. You're going to have to take care of that one way or the other. Like, you know, leave him alone, do away with whatever. I did not get, go kill Everett right now. That is not what I got from that at all.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
And even if that was the order, what, you was just going to not do it and come home like everything was cool? Like
right.
You just going to not do it, come back, not say nothing about anything? What was the plan? Like, what?
So because that information came out, Zeke gets upset.
My teammate Everett? Why? Man, see, that's why I don't mess with y'all. I'm about to leave.
Yeah. So because of that information, Diana exposes that Zeke was Monet's exit strategy the whole time.
Zeke probably should have been the first one to notice it when she forced him to go into the draft on the heels of a murder investigation. Knowing what we're getting ready to find out at the end of this conversation, it makes it so much worse. Like, I mean, like we may need to get Zeke tested type level. Like, that's scary. That is scary.
That bit of information causes Monet to say, oh no, I know you've been lying this whole time. You said you were going to Zeke's game.
And I knew you went to the trial.
Yeah. Yep.
And you fucking Tariq. Like, so everything that's been said at this table so far, you think that equates? You think that's something to throw into the ring? Diana's having sex. That's what you think? Zeke, your auntie was about to use you as a payday and send you to the NBA early. Kane stole all the coke and made himself to connect to and lied to the whole family. Drew's supposed to go kill somebody. He's still walking around breathing and ain't nobody said nothing. Well, Diana's having sex.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's awful.
What? That's awful. What? Like, what is happening in this episode right now? What is going on? Diana fucking. So yeah, about that NBA exit plan again. But what's like the fact that he even took his attention away from that for a second to Diana, we taught you better than that. You didn't teach her shit better than that. Not a single thing better than that. You yourself are trying to own or trying to corner the market in New York right now to be one of the biggest drug distributors there is. That is what you are attempting to do with the help of your children. What do you mean you taught her better than that? Obviously, you taught Drew better than that, but y'all didn't like him either because he was too much to the outside. So who is the perfect person for one of the Tejada children? It's obviously not somebody who's tied up in their life and their game, right? Because that's beneath them. But it's obviously not somebody who's totally outside of their life and is doing something productive like Everett, right? So who's acceptable for y'all's kids? No one, I suppose. Not a single person.
That information leads to Diana giving the bomb of all bombs that, in fact, Monet is the mother to Zeke and that the father is some guy named Dante, which, important to note, Monet and Zeke know Dante. Obviously, in this situation, Diana knows Dante, but nobody else really knows who Dante is. They don't know that Dante is also Mecca.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, this is the big one. The
checkmate obviously came with the birth certificate.
The birth certificate that exists, right? Okay. All right. Josh, how many Little League, high school, Pop Warner sports have you played in your life? Quite a few?
Quite a few, yeah.
Quite a few. There are a few basic requirements for starting those sports, aren't there?
Yep.
First of which being what to determine your age?
Proof. Birth certificate. Typically.
Birth certificate, social security number, something like that. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So you mean to tell me that this man made it through a lifetime of playing basketball on the cusp of getting into the NBA? And there is a birth certificate with his name on it from 1998 that's so easily accessible that Diana was able to get it over the phone. That exists for Ezekiel Cross, his legal name, still today. There's a birth certificate with his name on it, with his aunt's name on it, and some nigga named Dante, with the date of 1998 that exists. Let me lay this out for y'all. LeBron James is a high school senior, right? LeBron James is a high school senior. He's getting ready to graduate from St. Vincent St. Mary, right? And he's getting ready to go to the NBA in 2003. Oh no, here we go. At Akron General, there's a birth certificate with LeBron James's name on it, right? And it said he was born in 1969, not 79. What the hell's going on here, right? And it's got Gloria James's name on it and some other dude's name on it, right? Is there any way possible for that to be floating out here in the ether? Is there any way possible that how? You have to turn in these documents at every level that you play at. Little League, you got to do it in high school. You have to verify your age for a lot of these things. So if they never did the work of making that first birth certificate disappear, how are we sitting here right now? And it was not even like it was hidden. It wasn't buried. They didn't pay anyone not to say anything. They literally had the baby and just started lying. That's what it was. Had the baby and just started telling lies. That's what all of this was built with. All of it. I guess investigative reporters don't exist. There's no bookkeeping in these schools or these Pop Warner classes. I guess you're not cross-referencing any of this shit in any databases. How are we here? If it was that easy for Diana to just get on her phone for 5 minutes and magically a birth certificate appears. That's not the worst part. That's not the worst part. The worst part is that Zeke is not 19. He's 23. All right. Okay. So let's try to work this out. I'm going to do the gymnastics. Stretch a little bit. Okay. So he's 23, playing a 19-year-old. Kane just found out that he's older, right? So let's just say he's only a year older than Kane. Let's be generous. Say he's only a year. If he's 23, then Kane has to be 22. If that's the case, at what point did Kane meet Zeke, who at that point of him meeting him is a year older than him, right? That's the assumption we're operating. He's a year older. At what point could you have introduced Zeke to Kane and convince Kane that he's 4 years younger than him?
I'll do you one better. I'm assuming he went to elementary, middle school. He's got to convince all these 5-year-olds that this 9-year-old is a 5-year-old.
He's a 5-year-old. Thank you. Like, you telling me that they was sitting here looking at a 10-year-old with biceps, armpit hair, body odor, and a mustache forming and thinking, yep, that's normal for a 10-year-old. That's normal. You thought that when he was 6 years old and really 10, a 10-year-old in a class full of kindergartners, you thought that was normal. Boy, damn it, man. Like, I swear to God, I was in love with season 2, the first half. I'm still a fan. we are just getting so loose with this story, though, man. At this point, I feel like Tyler Perry in the background coaching, because we just getting so loose with these threads. Why 4? 2.5, maybe? Make it closer so that it could be a believable thing. Oh, well, he told me he was a few years younger, but he's actually only like a year and a half older or 2 years older. 4-year difference? How do you explain that to anyone, to the family, to Lorenzo, teachers, coaches? Come on, man. Come on. If you're a certain weight in Little League football, you got to wear X on your helmet. You can only play on the line. How did the 6'6" grader never get anybody questioning? How old is he? You sure? Let me see a birth certificate. It's the first thing that they ask in Little League sports. Somebody too big, too athletic, and they kids getting dominated. We need to see his birth certificate. We need to see it because we don't believe it. And I guess Diana was the first person in the world to look up Ezekiel Cross. First person ever.
The last scene that we see is, unfortunately, Carrie's demise. She decided to supposedly take her own life. However, we're not exactly sure what's going on, because before this, we saw Milgram with Monet. So it seems to be some foul play. But also, I thought it was kind of weird that I guess typically in TV shows, they don't show the face of somebody who takes their own life. But I just felt it weird that they didn't specifically show who it was. I don't know, but that was kind of weird.
Yeah, man. If I were a betting man, which I am, and I had to put some money down, I'm going to put not suicide for about 1,000. Not suicide. Not suicide at all. No. As if this episode couldn't get any worse for Monet. Now you pop up a Carrie Milgram spot of all places. Because you know what just happened to Carrie Milgram? Carrie Milgram just admitted to having sex with your nephew on the stand in open court. Right? And now she's dead. And you were the last person to see her. Poor Zeke is never going to the NBA. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Why was Monet there? Oh, let's explore this relationship with Zeke more. Oh, we have to pull more information up on Zeke. Oh, I found something that's weird. I found a birth certificate for another guy named Ezekiel Cross. Only he's 4 years older. Huh. Weird. Tejada. Monet Tejada. Isn't that? He's never going to the league. And it's Monet's fault. It's Monet's fault. For sure, it's Monet's fault. Never going. It's not happening. Sorry, Zeke. Sorry. Start singing. Ain't no bitch in my blood. I think she killed her. I think she went there and she said what she said. As long as you're around, he'll never come back to me. They ended up in a struggle. She had to choke her out, so she made it look like she killed herself. I'm not going for the big twisty endings anymore, theories, because I'm just being honest, they're not capable of writing that way. So it's very linear. It's very straightforward. Yes, I think Monet killed her because she believes that she's lost her family. And now, because again, the only thing she knows is blunt force, the only thing that she can do is force Zeke back into her life. Now that Mecca and Lorenzo have actually met, and now that she knows, or that Lorenzo knows that Zeke is Monet's and that there's another man, can we finally get the face-to-face that I actually wanted and not that bullshit y'all showed me a couple episodes ago? Can we actually get the introduction that we're supposed to get with them two? Now that mostly everything's out on the table, the only thing else they need to figure out is who the daddy is. And judging from the previews of next week, he seems pretty motivated to do so. So we'll see. Give us your thoughts on the episode of Power, Book 2, Ghost, Season 2, Episode 8. Boom. Flawless. Give us your comments and thoughts in the comments below.
And make sure you check out our Power playlist. We recap all of the shows, Raising Kanan, Power Book 2 Ghost, all the shows. And then make sure you give us a subscribe. We like to do this every week, every time a Power episode comes out.